June 5th, 1944, 24 hours before D-Day. In a bunker beneath Berlin, Adolf Hitler reads an urgent telegram. Maps of France line the walls. Red pins are clustered at the Pas de Calais. The tension in the air is palpable. The message was brief.
The invasion will not take place in Normandy. It is a diversion. The real blow, Pas de Calais. Keep all troops there.
Hitler believed it. He kept 150,000 German soldiers on the wrong beach, far from Normandy, far from the real invasion. Because this message was a lie, sent by a Spanish chicken farmer who had convinced Hitler's intelligence that he was their most valuable spy. For 4 years, this man had built an entire network of 27 fictional agents. He sent thousands of fake reports, and he fooled the most powerful war machine in human history. His code name, Garbo. His real name, Juan Pujol García. And the craziest part, the Nazis never suspected a thing. They awarded him the Iron Cross. The British gave him the Order of the British Empire, the only man in history to receive medals from both sides in the same war, for the exact same job. One of them was a lie. How did a man from Spain become the greatest liar of World War II? 1940, Barcelona, Spain. Juan Pujol García is 28 years old. He has a small chicken farm and a modest background. He is not a spy, not a soldier, not even particularly political. But he has one highly specific skill. He is exceptionally good at lying, and he watches as Nazi Germany rolls across Europe. France falls. Poland is crushed. Britain stands alone. Pujol hates fascism. His own country, Spain, just went through a brutal civil war. Franco's fascists won. Pujol saw neighbors disappear. He saw mass executions. He knows what happens when evil goes unanswered. So in 1941, this chicken farmer makes a decision. He will stop the Nazis. Alone, using only one tool, lies.
Someone has to do something. Democracies are losing. Britain is alone. They need intelligence. They need to know what the Nazis are planning. I am not a soldier. I am not a trained spy, but I know how to lie. And if my lies can help, then I will lie better than anyone before me.
First, he went to the British embassy in Madrid, offered his services. The British turned him down. They thought he was an amateur, a random Spanish guy with no connections, no training, and no credentials. So they sent him away. Then Pujol did something absolutely insane. If Britain didn't want to hire him as a British spy, he would first become a German spy, and then he would spy for Britain. Without anyone knowing, not the Nazis, not the British, just him and his wife. It was either sheer genius or the dumbest plan in history, maybe both. 1941. Pujol walks into the German embassy in Madrid, an office draped in Nazi flags. Abwehr officers, German intelligence, maps of Britain. Pujol is in a suit, nervous but hiding it well. He tells them he is a fascist sympathizer, that he wants to help Germany, that he can travel to Britain and spy. The Nazis bought it because Pujol knows how to lie. Not because he was trained, but because in the moment of speaking, he actually believes his own story. They give him invisible ink, a code book, secret radio frequencies, and an expense account. And they send him to England, except Pujol never goes to England. He goes to Portugal, to Lisbon. And from a library in Lisbon, using a British tourist guidebook, old magazines, and pure imagination, he starts sending the Nazis reports about England, a country he has never even visited. His first report came in under the code name Arabelle.
Berlin. This is Arabelle. I have arrived in Liverpool. The docks are heavily guarded. British morale is low. I counted 47 ships. The locals drink wine in large quantities, spending shillings freely. We'll continue observation. Arabelle out.
There were a few problems with this report. First, nobody in Liverpool drinks wine. They drink beer. Second, British currency isn't spent freely. It's wartime, and there's a strict rationing system. Third, the 47 ships. He just made that number up to sound useful. But the Nazis didn't know Liverpool. They didn't know British culture, and they desperately wanted to believe they had a spy on the British Isles. So, they believed. But now Pujol had a problem. He was sending reports to Germany, but Britain still didn't know he existed. And if the British found out there was some Spanish spy feeding intelligence to the Nazis, they would hunt him down and shoot him. So Pujol had to convince the British that he was working for them. He approaches the British embassy again. This time, an intelligence officer heard him out.
Mr. Garcia, we've been over this. We have no need for enthusiastic amateurs. You have no training, no network, no access to valuable intelligence. I'm sure you mean well, but espionage is slightly more complicated than reading newspapers and...
I am already spying. For the Nazis. They think I'm in England. They think I'm their agent. I'm sending them fake reports. From Lisbon. They believe everything. But if you don't help me, if you don't use me, then I'm just a random Spaniard lying to the Nazis. And when they find out, they will kill me. And my wife. So please, let me lie for Britain, instead of just lying.
The British officer stares at Pujol. This random Spanish chicken farmer had single-handedly infiltrated German intelligence on his own initiative. And now he's asking for permission to be a double agent. The officer makes a call. "All right, Mr. Garcia, let's see what you can do." And just like that, Juan Pujol Garcia becomes Agent Garbo, the greatest double agent of World War II. Now, the real work began. 1942. Pujol is finally moved to Britain, officially. MI5 sets him up in London with one mission: become the most valuable Nazi spy in Britain. While actually working for Britain, Pujol creates a fictional network of sub-agents. Agent 1, a Portuguese businessman in London. Agent 2, a Swiss businessman who hates the British. Agent 3, a Venezuelan student at Glasgow University. None of these people existed. Then he creates sub-agents for the sub-agents: the Venezuelan's girlfriend, the Portuguese's secretary, the Swiss man's mistress. Eventually, Pujol invents 27 fictional people, each with a detailed backstory, personality, political views, and personal problems. He wrote them like characters in a novel. Here is how a character was born. Late one night in an MI5 office.
All right, we need someone in Liverpool, someone the Nazis would find convincing. How about a dock worker? Someone who sees the ships coming and going?
Yes, but not just a dock worker. He is a widower. His wife was killed in a bombing raid. He drinks out of grief, and he is angry at the British government because they didn't protect his wife. Therefore, he is helping the Nazis out of revenge and for money, because he drinks.
That's actually quite brilliant. The Nazis will sympathize with him. They'll understand his motives. And if he's drunk half the time, it explains why some of his information is delayed or slightly inaccurate.
Exactly. We make him real by making him flawed. People believe in flaws more than perfection.
Over 4 years, Pujol and his team at MI5 sent 315 letters to the Nazis, thousands of secret messages. all containing 90% accurate information and 10% crucial lies. The trick was that the 90% truth made the Nazis trust him. So when that 10% lie came through, they swallowed it whole. By 1944, the Nazis considered Agent Garbo their most valuable asset. They awarded him the Iron Cross in absentia, without ever knowing his real name, without ever meeting him. They trusted him completely, which meant, when the time came, when the Allies needed to fool Hitler about the most important invasion in history, Agent Garbo was the perfect weapon. June 5, 1944, 11 p.m., 6 hours until D-Day. Pujol sits at the radio. His handlers surround him. Everyone knows this is the moment. 4 years of lying, 27 fictional characters, thousands of fake reports, all for this exact moment. If it works, D-Day succeeds. If it fails, thousands will die. Pujol starts typing. The message is long, detailed, urgent.
Urgent. Agent 3 reports. Massive troop movements in southeast England. Army group under the command of General Patton. Conclusion. Normandy invasion is a diversion. The real blow, pas de Calais. Wehrmacht must keep all forces at Calais. Do not redirect troops to Normandy. I repeat, do not redirect to Normandy.
Pujol sends the message and waits. In the war room, silence, bated breath.
Sent. Now, we wait to see if they bite. If they don't, if they move the 16th Army from Calais to Normandy, we lose our boys.
They will believe it. They have to. I've lied to them for 4 years. Why would they doubt me now?
June 6, 1944. 6:30 a.m. D-Day begins. Allied forces storm the beaches of Normandy. The first reports come in. Resistance is heavy, but not insurmountable. It is not the full strength of the Nazi army. Because the German 16th Army, 150,000 soldiers, was still standing in Calais, waiting for an invasion. That would never come. Hitler read Pujol's message, and he believed it. He kept his troops in Calais for 7 weeks after D-Day. 7 weeks, while the Allies secured the beachheads, while they pushed inland, while they liberated France. The 16th Army just sat there, waiting for a ghost, because a Spanish chicken farmer told the Führer the exact lie he wanted to hear. Historians estimate Pujol's deception saved between 10 and 30,000 lives. On D-Day alone. Not with bullets, not with bombs, with lies. And the craziest part, even after D-Day, the Nazis still believed him. They sent a personal message. Your reports have been invaluable. The Führer congratulates you. And they awarded him the Iron Cross for his assistance to Nazi Germany. The British awarded him an MBE for his assistance to Britain. 2 medals for the exact same job. One of them was a lie. After the war, Pujol did what all great spies do. He vanished. 1949. He fakes his own death, tells everyone he died of malaria in Angola. In reality, he moves to Venezuela, opens a bookstore, lives quietly for 35 years. No one knows he is alive, not the Nazis, not even the British. Until 1984, when a historian tracking down D-Day veterans found a trail. A bookstore owner in Caracas, the right age, the right accent, and possessing knowledge only Agent Garbo could have. They asked him, "Are you Juan Pujol García?" He smiled.
I used to be, but I have been so many people that sometimes I forget which one is real.
Pujol lived until 1988. He was 76 years old. Before he died, he gave one final interview about his work, about D-Day, about the 27 people who never existed, and about the craft of lying.
People ask me, how do you live with the lies? How do you remember all the stories? I tell them, the lies weren't hard. Making the lies convincing, that was hard. You see, people don't believe perfect stories. They believe messy ones. Stories with mistakes, with drunk agents who lose information, with jealous mistresses who get into fights. Real life is chaos. So my lies had to be chaos too. The Nazis believed my lies because my lies felt more real than their own truth.
Today, if you visit Normandy, you will see memorials to the soldiers who stormed the beaches, to the generals who planned the operation, to the pilots who flew overhead. But a memorial to a Spanish chicken farmer who lied for a living, you won't find one. But perhaps we should honor him. D-Day succeeded for many reasons. Brave soldiers, brilliant planning, technological superiority, but also because one man convinced Hitler to look the wrong way at the exact right moment. War is often about who has the biggest army, the most weapons, the best technology. But sometimes, just sometimes, it comes down to who tells the better story. Juan Pujol García never fired a gun. He never flew a plane. He never commanded troops. He saved thousands of lives with a typewriter, an imagination, and an understanding that people believe what they want to believe. The Nazis wanted to believe they had a brilliant spy in Britain. So Pujol gave them a brilliant spy. And while they were busy trusting their brilliant spy, real soldiers landed on real beaches and won a real war. History remembers the battles, but sometimes the greatest victories are won in shadowy rooms by people you've never heard of, who lied better than anyone else. Thank you, Juan, for your lies. They saved the truth.